Hello, and welcome to the speedpaint. If you're new here, then welcome. If you're a returning guest, it's great to have you back. I'm Catmint, and today we'll be working on an Artfight revenge pick of Ithiel's Star Wars D&D OC Prosper. That was a mouthful. As you may be able to tell, we're trying something a little bit different today. I'm not exactly a man of many words, as it were, so a voiceover is totally new territory for me. I figure I'll just give you a little bit of a rundown of some of the things I do and why I do them. You can take it as advice or leave it, it's totally up to you. That's the fun of art, isn't it? So, still, I will do my best and let's just try to have a little bit of fun with it, hey? I guess we should start with some of the settings. I typically keep my stabilizer on 12 just because that's what I set it as when I first started and that's what's done me well. I do, however, change up my pen pressure settings. I tend to have a very light hand, so I keep it highly sensitive. However, when I want something more sketchy, I will swap it to the next lower sensitivity, and I will toggle between them a lot. When you're first starting out, you might not realize that you can do that, and, well, you can, I guess. But it's good to play around with your settings and see what you like and see what you don't like. Once you get more used to using digital art, then you'll find you might like something you didn't previously like. Something else that might be interesting is you might notice that my setup usually has two canvases, the one I'm working on as the majority of the page, and a smaller one on the side that's flipped. That's so that I can see both the flipped version and the non-inverted version at the same time. It helps me to keep track of proportions and see what doesn't work well. It also means I don't have to flip the canvas I'm working on all the time, just because that's a bit of a hassle. There are shortcuts, but I don't usually use them because I'm not that tech savvy. I'm a very simple person, and that's fine. But it is a good idea to keep your canvas flipped if you're not going to have two canvases, just so that you don't flip it at the end and then realize that you've done everything entirely skewed. Unless you like that, I guess. It's up to you, really. As you can see here, I'm working on the line art. That's something I've been working to improve lately. Add a little bit more depth to it. Add more block shadows, which seems to be a little bit of a life hack, is when in doubt, shadow it out. If you don't know the proper anatomy of something, just add a shadow. No one else will know. Just pretend. Speaking of anatomy, if you're really struggling with something and you just cannot get it, just skip it. Go on to the next bit. If you still hate it by the time you're done, go back and give it another go. If you realize that, hey, that's possible, then let it be possible. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you're going to strive for perfection in every single thing you do, you're just going to end up chasing your own tail. Often you'll find that the thing you're stuck on during the time is not as bad as you think it is. It's probably not perfect, and that's fine, as long as it passes as recognizable. The more times you draw it, the better you'll get at it. So if you return in a few years, you might be like, wow, that's terrible, but I really learned. So don't get hung up on the little details. You know, just practice, give it a go, have some fun with it, and you can always come back and try again. That's just part of it, isn't it? Hopefully this isn't too awkward, but we'll keep going. You may notice that in all of the beginning title screens, I have the time written as X number of hours plus. I never record the whole process, because that would be crazy. It takes me a very, very long time to work out what it is I want to draw, and even after I've sketched it out, worked out everything as far as I can, while I'm working on the line art, I'll still go back and fix things. But I want people to be able to see that it's not a quick process. That's something that I used to struggle with when I was younger. I would see these amazing artworks and be like, wow, you know, they're so fast, even though logically you know that it's sped up. It doesn't really process how long everything takes once you've sped it up like 60 times. But yeah, it does take a long time, and it's not a race. You know, just enjoy the thing you're working on while you're working on it, and you'll get there. Yeah, so just here I am working on a background. It's not perfect, but it was fun. It frames the character better and gives you something more to look at. When I go in to do the colouring, which I actually really struggle with colouring. I struggle so much with so many different parts. But with colouring, I found that if you block in all of the colours, it helps you to pick more harmonious ones as you go on. So block in your base colours, block in your shadows, your highlights. Just keep it loose, keep it like what you're kind of wanting, and then you can go in and render it later. And you use the color picker tool to pick shadows that are already there, and it helps to render it all harmoniously. It does tend to dull it out, but that's what your adjustment layers are for. Unless you're good at it, and then you can know what you're doing. I mostly just feel my way through. I should do more research, but yeah. Why research something when you can just struggle with it for 3 hours, right? I tend to do a lot of blushing on skin. Enjoy painting skin, it's fun. You can add a lot of colours to it and you don't really realise until you get into it. I like to frame the eyes with the colour of the irises, so the skin is reflecting some of the colours. It just kind of makes it pop a little bit better, a little bit more interesting. Same with the hair and the clothes. I like to use a lot of the surrounding colours to just bring a little bit more depth into it. You're putting the figure into the environment a little bit more by bouncing the colours of the environment off. Sometimes you mess up, and then you just start again. That's all there really is to it, just give it a go. I was left to do a lot of the outfit design myself, because the reference didn't have anything from the waist down. It's kind of Star Wars-esque, like it'll do. I mean, she's a very cool character to begin with, so hopefully I didn't do her too dirty with the knee pads. Here I am, just adding in more colours, seeing what I like, seeing what I don't like. Those arms took me so long. You might be surprised to hear it, but I don't have a very good mental image of things. I tend to make a rough shape and then try and find what I'm looking at instead of trying to recreate what's in my mind. Because half the time I don't even know. One of the things you'll see me do in a little bit is do a light color inside of the line art as a sort of room lighting. It's super tedious, but it does give a certain oomph once it's done. Makes it more juicy. I think that's one of the things that you kind of have to get used to when you're drawing. Sometimes the most tedious bits are the most rewarding. So although I don't like having to go through and reline all of the line art, and keep in mind what's touching what and where the light source is and all that sort of thing, it does give a good effect, in my opinion. So it is worth it after it's done. While you're doing it, not a lot of fun. Something that is a lot of fun, and is probably my favourite step at the moment, is breaking the line art with additional details. Once everything's drawn, colored, and lined, I'll go in with hair, eyelashes, fur, leaves if necessary, and I will put them on top of the line art. This adds more dimension to it, so it doesn't seem as though it's trapped behind all of the lines. It's a very easy way to just add a little bit more to the picture. Alright, well it seems like we're just about done. If you enjoyed my rambling, let me know, and I will try more voiceovers for you. Feel free to ask questions so I have something to talk about. Until next time, have a lovely day, and remember to treat yourself kindly.